Hello, 15 Steps Workshop. I'm very glad to answer your questions you have sent me. My name is Erna Tosberg. I work in Münster for roestbar coffee roasters, and I'm a barista and a barista trainer. So, let's have a look at your questions. How did you get into the coffee industry, or by whose influence? Well, I got into the specialty coffee industry 8 years ago. I always loved drinking coffee, but to be honest, I started in the first wave with supermarket coffee when I was a teenager. And when the first coffee chains arrived in Hamburg, I was happy to go there, also as a teenager. And then my studies at university brought me to Münster in 2003. And till then, I actually knew nothing about specialty coffee. But 8 years ago, I came back from a year abroad in Venice, Italy, and I had fallen in love with espresso. So I wanted to work as a barista, and I thought the best place to do that in Münster was roestbar because they served the best espresso. And that's how I started to work at a cafe, and it's the cafe where I still work, so I definitely like my job there. I learned everything about specialty coffee there. When I started, I was like, oh wow, they have so many different coffees. Do they really taste differently? I was skeptical, I have to admit that. But the moment that I first cupped and really tasted the differences in the coffees, I totally fell in love with coffee. And I still am. So, next question. What's the best thing about being a coffee people and the worst? Well, the best thing is that you get to drink a lot of great coffees every day, all the time. That is amazing, and I really love a good cup of coffee. Also, you get to travel, which is also really, really nice. I've traveled so much during the last 2 years to Origin, to other coffee places. I really, really like that. And of course, there's the other coffee people. It's a very nice community, and I just love hanging out with them, talking about coffee, everything else. I just like the community. Yeah, the worst thing, nobody wants to brew me a coffee anymore. That's really bad. Everybody's afraid. I'm really sad about that because, if I go into a specialty coffee shop, I know I'm going to get a good cup of coffee. And yeah, I'm not a mocky person. So, tell us about a frustrated experience and how to overcome. Oh, I think there's something that happens to almost every young barista. You fall in love with coffee, you think a lot about it, about how it's produced at the farm, how it's processed, how it's roasted, and then you spend so much effort into brewing a cup or pouring a cappuccino, and then you just don't understand that not every customer is a coffee nerd just like you. So you get really disappointed when people just grab a cup and throw a lot of sugar or milk into it, and then you're really sad and disappointed. But I think you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't take it personally. Don't be depressed. I have to say, coffee is not the most important thing in the world, but if we can make a customer's day better with a cup of coffee, we should be happy with that, even if the customer puts sugar into it. Yeah. I think that's frustrating for a lot of baristas. Okay, let's see your next question. Tell us how you gain the skill or technique of coffee in the coffee industry. Well, since I work still at my first coffee shop, I learned most of my skills from my colleagues and co-workers. And then, of course, I read a lot of books and blogs. There's so much stuff you can find on the internet. And then also when I meet other baristas, I try to learn something from them. I try to be an information sponge. And also, I always learned a lot preparing for the barista championships, reading rules and playing along, and preparing that presentation on stage. That really taught me quite a lot, not only technically but also my sensory skills got better, and I just improved as a barista. Okay, last question already. What's your opinion on training baristas and educating customers about the specialty coffee? What's the hardship during the progress? Well, I think it's very important to educate both of them. First, of course, the barista, because he's very important. He's at the end of a long, long chain in the coffee process from seed to cup. And if he spoils the preparation, all the efforts of the farmer and the processors, the buyers, the roasters, they're for nothing. So that would be really, really sad. So he has to know how to prepare a good cup of coffee and also how to tell the customer the story why this cup is so special, and to paint a picture of what he's going to taste and experience. And I think that is the really, really big thing a barista has to do. That's his responsibility. But of course, a customer has to know what he's drinking, that this is not a supermarket product, something generic, but something special. And a good barista can teach a customer a little bit. And also, I work at a coffee school as a barista trainer, and there are a lot of people coming and taking classes because they want to know how to taste coffee. So they want to learn about coffee, they're very interested, and I think that's a very good thing. And if you teach people how to cup and how to taste coffee, that will bring the whole industry much, much further. And the hard thing is, well, you can be frustrated. Sometimes people are not interested at all, and yeah, well, it happens, but there's hope and there's still a lot of good coffee, so we can go on. And for me, it's also hard to see that some baristas forget where they come from. Like I said earlier, when I was younger, I did drink coffee from the supermarket, and I still know that, so I don't get offended if other people do. But there are quite a lot of people in the industry at the moment that are quite mocking about coffee, and they disguise a coffee just because it has a little toasty note or some bitterness they do not like, and they forget the process behind their coffee. Or they complain about a coffee being too old, like I have it on my shelf for 3 months, but still it's not the bean's fault. I mean, it's my fault if I don't drink that coffee immediately. So don't blame the beans. Enjoy every cup because there's so much effort in it. Okay, I think that was already it. Yep. Thank you very much. Goodbye.